Welcome into Seahawks Today. I am your host, Will Ortner, and everyone's hurt for your Seattle Seahawks. You can go down the list right now. This is just 5. This is half of the list. Emmanwori, Derick Hall, Ernest Jones, Josh Jones, Demarcus Lawrence. The list goes on and on and on. It's offense, it's defense, running backs, cornerbacks, defensive tackles. Everyone is out. Or are they? Everyone's on the injury report. Are they going to be available to play and perform on Sunday? I'll let you know in today's video. All right, I got to get a vibes check. I got to get a how we feeling. Let me know down below in the comments, because right now you just went through, you saw the Seahawks injury report. 10 players deep. Are you feeling good about Sunday? Are you feeling bad? Let me know down below. So we've got some injury tiers going on right now for your Seattle Seahawks. I've gone through and I've kind of figured out hey, we're probably okay. It's just precautionary. I'm going to keep my fingers crossed because I think these guys will play, but I'm not sure. And a couple guys have already been given that big X. Hey, man, they're not going. They're already out. So we're going to go through that in today's video. The first list of guys are players that I think should be able to go out and play. Now, 2 players on this list that we're going to get into, they were limited participants in practice. That's a good sign. That means on a Wednesday, they're already getting out, moving around, running around. I'm pretty sure they're going to be good to go. 2 of these guys did not practice this week so far. I still think they're going to be okay to play. I don't think that the injury issues are as bad as everyone might think that they are. I think the minute that you see someone get hurt pretty early in the week, or a surprising type of injury of hey, I didn't expect that guy to be there. Why is that guy there? I think sometimes that can be scary, but I also think that with this case, it's just, hey, someone's getting a veteran day. Now, the first player that I want to talk about is Seattle safety Nick Emmanwori. Now, the reason I think that he should play this Sunday is because high ankle sprains can be very tricky. Not to, pump my own tires here. I played football for a little bit. I had a couple of sprained ankles. They can be weird. One day, hey, man, it feels great. You're out there running around. The next day, it swells up a little bit as it's trying to heal. So you got to take a couple of days off. Then it swells back up the next time you go and move around, but it swells up a little bit less. I think that's what Nick Emmanwori was dealing with, and that's why he was a limited participant on Wednesday's practice. When you look at his full season right here, it says 2 games played. Honestly, it really should be 1 game and 5 plays, but I can't say that. We don't have the ability to do that. So Nick Emmanwori has really gone through and done this in 1 game, getting limited snaps, right? Emmanwori is your big safety. He's the type of player who's coming in when a team is in a 12 personnel situation where they have a big tight end or they have a taller slot wide receiver. Of course, now you show me you can do that. But what Nick Emmanwori has done when he's played is play with his hair on fire. He's played downhill. Getting tackles in the backfield is huge for this defense from that safety position, because most offensive linemen are not going to count him into their count when they are run blocking. Most offensive linemen are going to ignore a safety. You can't do that with Nick Emmanwori. That now leaves more one-on-one matchups for linebackers, defensive linemen. Frankly, it opens up your defense. I think that Emmanwori is going to be good to go and that he'll be playing in that big nickel package. The next guy that I'm talking about is Ernest Jones IV. He did not practice. I think everyone was shocked when they saw him pop up on the injury report. Frankly, when he came out with, oh, hey, it's a shoulder injury, my head immediately went to that play on the goal line against Rachaad White, where he just absolutely smoked the poor running back, put him in the dirt. I think that Ernest Jones, this is just a veteran day. Hey, man, you've been in the league a little bit. You're a little bit sore. You're a little bit nicked up. Let's take a Wednesday off so that you're 100% ready to go. Because the Seahawks cannot be without their top tackler this game. When you have a guy that's already 10 tackles ahead of everybody else on your team, you got to get him out on the field. Here's the part that's crazy as well. It's not listed. I did this on purpose. Ernest Jones not only leads your team in tackles, he leads your team in interceptions as well. That's how vital your middle linebacker is. That's how worried most people were when they saw that he was on the injury report. That's why I think we're going to be okay. I think it was just a veteran day. I expect him to go out there, move around. a little bit today. I expect him to move around a little bit on Friday, and I expect him to be ready to go on Sunday. Now, Reed and Russell. This is talking about Jarran Reed, Brady Russell. Jarran Reed got a vet day. I talked about Ernest Jones needing a vet day. Jarran Reed's going to probably need like 6 or 7 of these this year. Leonard Williams as well. They're just older players. They play a more difficult, more beating, more bruising type of position. Expect them to consistently need those extra days, especially as the season goes on. Brady Russell was a full participant in practice. He just had like a wrist thing. It was something that had been bugging him. I expect him to go. He's a key special teamer for the Seahawks. Now we're going to get into our fingers crossed category. These are our guys that I'm hopeful they're going to play, and we're probably not going to know if they're not going to play or they are going to play until the very last minute. But I am hopeful that we'll see all 4 of these guys on the field, at least see 3 out of the 4. We're going to start with Demarcus Lawrence. Lawrence is expected to practice later on this week. That was something that kind of came out early on. Lawrence was dealing with that quad bruise. He got messed up in the Arizona Cardinals game, missed the last game, and boy, was his presence felt, right? When you don't have a guy like Demarcus Lawrence setting the edge, you saw Tampa Bay was able to get the edge a couple times on key rushes, including that one that got the first down at the end of the game to basically ice it. You need Demarcus Lawrence out there, plus he opens up pass rushing lanes for the rest of your team. Devon Witherspoon also expected to be out and practicing later on this week. He's dealing with that MCL bruise. What worries me with Witherspoon is he missed 2 games, then he comes back for Arizona. At the end of that Arizona game, he was starting to get kind of cooked a little bit by Marvin Harrison Jr., showing, hey, he might not actually be 100% healthy like we were hoping he was. And then he had to miss this week. I'm a little bit worried about where he's at because you need him 100% healthy to get this defense rocking and rolling the best way that it can. Mike Macdonald did have this to say earlier on, and this is how I can say with confidence that these 2 are supposed to come back and practice at some point this week. Spoon and D-Law this week, they're going to try and practice in the middle of the week. No injury designation as of yet, but we're going to wait until the middle to late in the week, and then they're going to take it from there. In my eyes, this is Mike Macdonald basically saying, hey, we expect them to practice. We expect them to be ready to go, but sometimes setbacks happen. Will they play? I told you I think that they will. I don't think Mike Macdonald comes out and says what he says if Witherspoon and Demarcus Lawrence aren't going to play. Do you think they'll play? You're going to go down in the comments and say, yes, they'll play, or no, they won't. I'm going to talk to you about the rest of the guys on the Seahawks injury report, but before I do, I have to tell you about today's great sponsors, and that is Prize Picks. You and I make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this season on Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. Prize Picks is simple to play. Just pick more or less on any 2 to 6 player stat projections, and if your picks are right, you could cash in. Prize Picks invented the flex play, which means you can still cash out if your lineup isn't perfect. You can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. Prize Picks is the best way to win cash this football season. Which players are going off? Which ones are overhyped? Make your picks in less than 60 seconds and turn your takes into cash all season long on Prize Picks. On Sunday, I got a nice little 2-pick power play. Sam Darnold more on his passing yards. Daniel Jones against the Cardinals defense? Come on now. More on his passing yards as well. Download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. This is my biggest fingers crossed of the week. I can't believe I'm going to say this. When you don't have Devon Witherspoon, when you don't have Julian Love, you really feel it as a secondary when Tariq Woolen goes down. And he went down in this game. He gets that knee to the helmet. Look, I know the secondary wasn't doing great before he came out, but you didn't get a single stop once he left that game. He's now in concussion protocol. And so there's a little bit of concern of, is Tariq Woolen going to be able to go? Is he not going to be able to go? Brady Henderson, a great beat reporter for the Seattle Seahawks, did tweet this out yesterday with a picture of Tariq Woolen out at practice. Woolen left the Bucs game with a concussion, he says, practicing today as a limited participant. Doesn't mean that he's cleared concussion protocol, but it does mean that he's in an advanced stage, and so he's able to do some on-field work. What that means to me, and after seeing the video, tells me that he's actually got a fighting chance to go out there and play this week. It's not like Jake Bobo's concussion, where not only did you have 2 weeks of practice missed, You ended up not being able to get him until week 2 of the season, so 3 full weeks where he had to go through that concussion protocol. Hopefully, fingers crossed, Tariq Woolen is able to get out there and play for your Seattle Seahawks in this one. I have no read on Julian Love. I wish I could stand up here and tell you, hey, he's going to go, or even, no, there's no shot he's going to play. Julian Love, too injured, too beat up, not happening. I have no read on it. I'd like to come up here as your Seahawks expert and say definitively, this is what's going to happen, then this is going to happen, then this is going to happen. I don't have it, man. I just don't have it. Every time I say, hey, Julian Love, it's going to be okay, he's going to be back, it seems like he ends up having to sit out and miss a game. Every time I tell you, well, if he missed that game, he's probably going to miss this game, he comes out and plays. I have no feel for it, and he probably has no feel for his hamstring right now either. It's clearly something that's bothering him, and at this point, I'd rather have him sit out an extra week or 2 if it means getting him back 100% healthy. Because right now, Seattle needs him badly. That secondary was lost out there. Tayo Kuta multiple times went to the wrong wide receiver in that game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers that left another receiver completely wide open, all by themselves, running scot-free. Frankly, it was brutal. It was embarrassing. You need Julian Love back out there commanding your defense and getting everyone in the right spot, not just from a physical standpoint, but from a mental standpoint as well. The last 2 guys have no shot of getting out there and going. Josh Jones, your backup tackle, has already been ruled out for this game. He's not going to play. And Derick Hall, he's dealing with that oblique injury. That's that muscle right here on your core. If you're really jacked, it creates that V shape. Clearly, I don't have it, right? Derick Hall, I don't think you're going to see him until after the bye week, unfortunately. And this is going to sound really weird because I know there's a lot of Seattle Seahawks fans who might not necessarily be in the weeds as much as we are here at Seahawks Today, because I know those of you who are listening are true blue Seahawk fans and know the ins and outs of this team. You are going to miss Jones and Hall. Now, Jones you haven't missed quite as much because Abraham Lucas and Charles Cross are playing at an elite level, but most importantly, they've been healthy. But if you lose a tackle, you're now not going to your third string tackle, essentially your backup tackle because he's the swing on both. You're really going to your 4th tackle. That's a big deal. You saw it last year in the right tackle position when there was a constant rotation because Lucas was out. The offense didn't move as well. You couldn't run the ball and your pass protection fell apart. Josh Jones is a great backup tackle in the NFL. So to not have him could potentially spell disaster. You saw what happens with the Seahawks when Derick Hall's out because Demarcus Lawrence was already out in that game. So you had to go to your backup's backup to go and play that rush edge position because you didn't have Jared Ivey active, who's the 3rd stringer in that spot. So you had to go to your 4th string option in the game. You are going to miss Derick Hall. He's been great this year. He's getting a ton of pressures. He's one of the top pressure guys in the NFL. I believe he's top 10. He might be top 5. He was at one point earlier this year. Those are 2 sneaky big misses for you. I told you already, this injury report scares me. Not just because of the length that it has, but the amount of players in the certain positions that you have. A lot of secondary players, a lot of defensive linemen. 2 position groups that really struggled against Tampa Bay, and this is a game that you just can't afford to drop. You can't go to 500 going into that Houston game because that Houston game just got a lot scarier as well. Seattle has to get healthy on defense. We've seen what this team can do, even at 80%. But if any of these guys aren't able to go, you're going to be looking like you did against Tampa Bay again, where you were at 60% at best. You got torched. 38 points given up at home. That can't happen. Can't happen if you want to be a postseason team. We saw it last year. Early losses cost you playoffs in the end. Can't let that happen again. Make sure to follow me on X. I'm always tweeting out the earliest Seahawks news that I know as soon as I know it. So you're going to want to make sure that you follow me over there to get the latest breaking news. And of course, subscribe to the channel. We got Seahawks content coming out every single day. You don't want to miss it.